And welcome to anybody who may be watching. This is Linux Guru Gamer here, starting my Engineering Tech Tree stream for the night. Hopefully we don't have any issues with sound the way we did last week. I think I got it all worked out this time. And I'll know as soon as the game finishes loading whether it's working properly or not. So, hello Epic Sauce and welcome. You are, I believe, the first one. Are we having an echo again? Epic Sauce, are you hearing an echo right now? Because I don't see it, but that doesn't mean anything really. Anyway, this is an Engineering Tech Tree game, and the game has about 210 mods. Very much echo. Okay. So let me see if I can figure out what's going on. The mic is here. Testing 1, 2. No, it's not a verb. It's. I have too many sound devices on my system, and since I only do this, up there it is. I can hear it now. All right, hold on. I have too many sound devices on my system, and since I only do this. All right. I think what was happening was that there were multiple microphones going, so I'll know in just a moment. All right. I think what was happening was that there were multiple microphones going, so I'll know in just a moment. All right. So I know it's still there, but actually I heard the change which I was looking for. I just disabled the final thing, and as of now, okay, tell me if you're still hearing the reverb or not. Okay, the last thing I see you wrote is nope, still there, but that was before I made the final change. Slight bit. Okay. I have not yet turned on my regular music, so this is still testing. All right. Yeah, okay. Can you hear me now? And I'm going to type because I hope you can't. All right. Rocket PC, thank you so much for that. I'm just getting my sound issues worked out again. I hope to have that fixed in a minute, but in the meantime, welcome everybody who is going to be... That did fix it. That's not good. I am not sure if I'm ready for you or not. Can you hear me right now? And if you can hear me, is there an echo? Testing 1, 2. Okay. Testing 1, 2. No. Okay. Echo is back. Okay. Is the echo gone now? Yes, your martyr and savior and the one who has no idea what he's doing when it comes to sound. Like every week I think I get it fixed, and every week the next week it gets messed up. So echo is gone, but you can hear me. All right. That is very, very strange because I just turned all my mics off. Something is working. I have no idea what, but as long as it's going, or maybe it's OBS. Oh. OBS is playing games with me. All right, so we're good. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody. This is approximately a 210 to 212 mod game running the engineering tech tree. Hello everybody, that's Keith SD. Sumo Deluxe, thank you so very much for the help. For the host, I mean. And no, I'm not a god, but thank you. Rocket PC keeps saying that I'm the unsung hero. Well, he keeps singing my praises, so how could I be an unsung hero anymore? Anyway, I wasn't expecting to get this many people this soon. So one of the things I was planning on doing this evening was to do a quick demonstration of the new mod that I'm working. No, the 209 are not mine. I've been working on a suicide burn mod, which unfortunately means I have to go out of this game and start up another one because it's not yet ready for any sort of release. It's working. So what I'm wondering is, would you all want me to just go ahead and do that real fast, or should I do 1 or 2 missions and then switch over to the demo? So I'm going to watch, and while I watch the chat, I'm going to be taking a look at where my current settings are, in terms of career mode wise. I'll talk about it, but I'm also going to keep an eye on the chat just to see what people's preferences are. All right. So, this is using the engineering tech tree, as I've said many times. The engineering tech tree uses more of a pinwheel type of tech tree. Thank you again, Rocket, and I do appreciate. Okay, I'll do the mods in just a minute. Let me finish with this. The engineering tech tree, it lets you go out in any direction you want, in any specialty. So, it gives you more a chance to be able to focus in on those things which you want. All right, so everyone's saying the new mod. So let me go out, and unfortunately, because this is full screen mode, I need to exit. It won't take long to load the new one, and since this just loaded, the reload will only take a couple of minutes instead of the 7 minutes it took just now. Okay, back. And quit. All right. All right. You should now be starting to see the new game loading. This is not a full screen session. All right. And again, you know, I actually just had to reboot my system, so I lost everything which I had on RAM disk, which is fine. I'm just, all I have installed in this particular game, what I'm showing you right now, is a modified version of the trajectories mod, which I use, and the suicide burn mod. Also module manager, because that's needed, but other than that, there's nothing else here. So, all right. It is a fun Secretary Willy. We will get back to it in a couple of minutes, okay? Again, this particular save that I started is what I use for all my development. So, depending on what I've loaded, not loaded, sometimes existing things will not load because mods aren't there. But I'm going to build. I don't think I saved that ship. Let me take a look. No, I don't. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build a quick little rocket here. All right. And all right. So let's get the engine. Alright, oh, I also want a reaction wheel here. Actually, yeah. Alright, so all I'm doing right now is just putting in what I need in order to launch this rocket. And I'm going to put a couple of small fins on. Alright. So now, oh, actually before, okay, that'll do. This is an Intel 4790K, overclocked to about 4.5 gigahertz. I have 32 gig of memory, and this particular game happens to get loaded in when I reboot my system into a RAM disk, a 4 gig RAM disk. So again, for development, I want it to be as fast as possible. My system itself is running entirely on SSDs, which gives me both speed and reliability. I have them set up in what's called a RAID 10 configuration. And if anyone wants me to go technical, I will. Okay, so here we got a very simple rocket, okay? And here is the suicide burn button, okay? It's not done, but it is in a pretty decent state. So right-clicking on the button brings up a tuning window, okay? So you have what's called the target min speed, max speed, and this is a target speed where it's trying to get to somewhere between those two speeds at what's called the safety margin, which is altitude above the ground level. So it's going to try and get to no more than 3 meters a second when it gets to about 2 meters high. I have options to deploy landing gear. I don't have landing gear installed on this ship. I'm currently working on deploying parachutes. Now the parachutes are deploying, but unfortunately it's not taking the parachutes into account. So what that means is that I was getting some very bad crashes of the vessels while I was landing with parachutes. But the real idea for that is to land an overweight ship on a planet where the rockets aren't good enough, such as landing on Duna. And an update interval. Now this is not going to be, you're really not going to touch this. This is in case you start having performance problems. And right now it's set to 0.02 seconds, which is the standard. That's how often every fixed update runs. But you can change it up to once a second. Now you're not going to be able to slow it down more than that because then it'll react way too slowly. But my testing has shown that this range, so far at least, is good enough to be able to do the landings. Okay, So again, getting back to the landing gear, you can deploy landing gear anywhere from 1 meter high, I don't recommend that, to 1,000 meters high. Okay, the default is 500. Parachutes can deploy anywhere from 500 to about 10,000 meters. And again, I don't have chutes on this vessel, so that's irrelevant. What I'm going to do is set a safety margin of 10 meters, about 9.7. Okay. Now, if you want, you can go advanced, and all advanced is going to do is show you a lot of interesting information related to what we're trying to do. Okay. Window is draggable. To activate, you click, and it goes green. Now, here's the thing: if that ever goes red, you got a problem. I don't have any reporting yet as to what the problem is, but if it's red, it means that either you won't be able to stop in time, or it thinks you won't be able to stop in time. You're going to run out of fuel or something along those lines. Okay. Again, not finished, but let's go up and see how well this does. All right. Full Z. Okay. Now, the test I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to 1,000 meters, and then I'm just going to let it come back down and land itself. Okay. It takes horizontal speed into account, and so far, at least in all my tests, once I got things working, it lands it very nicely. So let's go on up, everything up. Okay. Now you see here, well, this information is constantly updated. Some of it won't be updated until it's coming back down. Okay. I also strongly recommend that when you're coming back down, you come down in a retrograde position, and I'm going to switch it to retrograde as soon as it starts coming down. What's going to happen here, because of those fins, it's going to actually tilt, but again, the engine will take care of that. Okay, so we're coming down. My hands are off, and we're watching. This isn't supposed to happen. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure about this because I have not tested with this particular configuration. It's those fins. So what I'm going to do is make a slight change. Once it turned over, all bets are gone. Okay, so we're going to do this. Okay. Hello, Jim, and welcome, and thank you. Okay, and I'm doing the takeoff right now. You notice I didn't activate it yet. It can activate it at any time. Hopefully, it will not flip coming back down. Again, this is a I'm forcing a test, so it's not really the way you would normally be using it. Okay, let's do that. Keep retrograde. Okay, so now we just watch it. The extra reaction wheel will be enough to keep it straight, I believe. Now you see here, oh, there it goes. And you see the clearance is actually from the bottom of the rocket. Okay. Well, close. Again, I didn't make any adjustments here. The clearance is from the bottom of the rocket. AGL is from the center of the rocket. I'm going to do one more, and what I'm going to do is adjust the safety margin the way I want it to. So, TZ takeoff. In the meantime, let's get this safety margin at 10 meters and activate. Black coffee, that is my day job. And I'll go into what my system configuration is in just a minute, as soon as this it lands this time. Coming back down, go retro. I'm just gonna minimize this, and we'll go advanced so we can see what's going on here. All right. And again, it's going to try and get to about 3 meters a second, about 10 meters high. Again, it's not finished, but it's going to be pretty darn close to it. All right, and let's not let it fall over and explode. Obviously, this is not the type of vessel you normally would, or at the very least, you would want landing gear with something this tall. And my other test rocket, which I accidentally blew away, did have landing gear. Parachutes are good, landers are good, it does work. Let me show you one more, and I'll do this. Instead of going straight up, I'm going to go at an angle. Okay? And just show you how it can actually take care of itself. But in this case, I want to make sure about this first. Safety margin a little higher, target speed, Okay, update info. All right, and we'll engage CT, take off. Let it get a little higher, and now we're going to go at an angle. Well, basically, the mod is, at this point, in a state... this is what you're going to see. So it's really a matter of my fixing problems, getting the parachutes working properly, getting things like burn time remaining updated properly, etc. You can see here, it has a horizontal component. It's correcting for it. And it's actually a fairly simple correction. You simply point retrograde, and you just have to calculate how long you want the engine to burn. And we're going to come down here, and our touchdown is going to be right about now. Okay, and again, it's working. It's a work in progress, but you get the idea. All right. So while I load my main game back in, I'm going to talk about my my system. There we go. All right. So you should start seeing loading in just a moment. Again, it takes a little while to get started because it's such a big system, but there you go. All right. So my system here. Yes, it would, but this was a very quick build I did just to show you the mod in action. So my system has 6 SSDs. 2 SSDs are my C drive, and they're set up in what's called a RAID 1 configuration. RAID 1 means you have 2 drives, they're mirroring each other, so anything that's gets written to one gets written to the other. The reason you do this is that if one drive goes bad, you still have all your data on the other one. It happens to be a very expensive configuration if you do this on every single drive. But it's reliable. My D drive consists of 4 SSDs in what's called a RAID 10 configuration. Now, a RAID 10 is a combination of what's called RAID 1, which is the mirroring, and what's called RAID 0. And RAID 0 is striping, where you're actually spreading the data across multiple drives. So when you're reading a sequential stream of data, it's reading it from multiple drives, and you're increasing your speed that much. So what RAID 10 is doing is it gives you the ability to get much faster I/O, and yet you also have the reliability of the RAID 1, so that if one of those drives goes bad, I still have all my data. Okay. In terms of my questions, the question about storage, my C drive is 256 gig of real storage. My D drive is 512, and I do have at least 2 other magnetic disks attached to the system. Excessum Perficio. Are you talking about my chair or somebody else? And yes, I did have to buy this chair, but I've had it for a while and it's very comfortable. So, all right. Almost back in the game. The RAID is motherboard, not RAID controller. RAID controller would be faster, but then you start running into issues where it's expensive and you need compatibility with Windows, etc. The motherboard I have is an Asus motherboard. I think it's called ROG motherboard, and it was built in. One of the reasons why I was able to do the 2-drive setup is that the motherboard actually has 2 RAID controllers built into it. So the Suicide Burn mod, it's almost there. I got a lot of good stuff done today. The big thing now is the parachutes, and the rest of it's just a little bit minor tuning. All right. Well, yeah, Kantep, which is why my backups are extremely important. Everything I have is backed up using a system called CrashPlan. This isn't a cheap Windows-only motherboard. This motherboard also runs. I run Linux on it, etc. Anyway, the Asus is a good manufacturer. I'm not going to go into a discussion right now of which hardware is better or not as good, etc. We'll leave it at that. But I use something called CrashPlan. CrashPlan is both a cloud storage company, and I have a Linux server here, which has its own copy of CrashPlan, so that whatever happens, I'm backed up in at least two locations. I've been doing computers for a very long time, and I can't even begin to count the number of times that backups have saved me. All right. Okay. I'm just going to pull that in. We don't need any debris in the area. All right. So, back to the game. I was reviewing the tech tree earlier. So I'm going to take a quick look, and I will try to pay attention to the chat. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to to post, and I'll get it within a couple of minutes. Okay. I think what I was actually going for eventually was this. I know that 71 isn't enough. I needed something more. No wings. This is what I wanted. I want to go for the 2 command, but I need 95, 70. So I need a little bit more science to get it. 20, about 23 science. And believe me, both here and at my job, backups are extremely important. Very, very important. Oh yeah, we were doing this. Okay, so I have a low-res scan of Minmus going on. My next contract, which I took, is to put 2 Kerbals in orbit. Now, I don't have any 2 Kerbal command pods yet. And I am not going to take multiple one-person command pods and stick them onto a stack, because I think that looks totally ridiculous. Yes, it'll work, but no one would ever do that, because frankly, even though it works in Kerbal, the command pod itself wouldn't be able to support another command pod on top of that. Yes, this tree you can go unmanned, you can go manned, it's whichever route you want to go. Now another thing which I have here is Career Revolution, which written by Pap 1723. I don't know if you're here, Pap. Pap, if you're here, give a shout, say hi, please. Anyway, Career Revolution is a whole series of missions which let you really get a more realistic, a more fun, for me at least, way of playing the game. Yes, I can do 2 stacks side by side, but again, it's not going to happen. It doesn't make sense. I'll just get a little more science, get my 2-person command pod, and then I'll be on my way. In the meantime, I just need to get some more science. Okay, now Career Evolution, he just came out with an update, which I loaded. So for some reason, I'm getting a suborbital trajectory again, which I've done. It's going to give me a little bit of science and whatever, so sure, why not? And after that, we're going to get another one, it looks like. The green, actually no, the green check marks have already been done. So it's that. Okay, satellites, moon exploration. Not going to do landings right now. Up, definitely not going there. All right, so let's close this. Exploration, explore Kerbin. Alright, so this would be interesting. I don't know why Explore Kerbin is actually talking about Rendezvous. But we definitely get that I can do. You're hearing the game music? Okay, I'll take care of that when I get out. I thought I had turned it off. I guess I missed that. Alright. You're right, I can hear that. Oops. Settings. Alright, so the game music should be off now. Okay, so let's let's go ahead and see what we can do. So yes, it's a fast computer. It still takes time given the number of mods I have. No, the game hasn't crashed. It's just loading it into the VAB. Okay. So all right. Let's do the suborbital first. We need to go. That's easy enough. I pretty much have vessels already built, or which have done it already. By the way, this is something which I started to build last time, just to say that yeah, I could do it. You know, I've done it. I've done something like this before, where I actually had 4 command pods. Okay, and it worked, but it just doesn't look right. So I'm not gonna. But let's take a look at. Hello, Hardened Patriot. I am fine, and how are you tonight? And thank you very much for stopping by. All right, orbit 1. Return. Let's see what we got in here. I'm a firm believer in reusing vessels if I can. All right. So what I have here is very simple. It's going to go up, and it's going to come back. Okay. It's probably overbuilt for what I need, but I'll go with it. Alright, so let's go for what we're doing here is we're going to doing a suborbital trajectory return just to fulfill the contract. Pap, hello, welcome. Everyone, say hi to Pap 1723. He is the one who wrote this that contract pack I was talking about. Pap, he's a great modder. I'm not sure. Pap, do you stream? I'm not sure about that. But anyway, I don't recall seeing Pap streaming before. But definitely take a look at his mods and see what they have. Anyway, so we're about ready to take off. Now I have parachutes over here. That's going to be good for stage recovery. So this is a very simple mission. Don't need ascent guidance for this. We are simply going suborbital. Going to break 70 kilometers and then come back down. So 3, 2, 1. Oh, I love those rockets. Is there anybody here who doesn't like the sound of KW rockets? Whoops! Nah! Oh dear. Oh dear, I turned too fast. Oh, this is going to be a failure. Maybe not. Maybe I might luck out. I lucked out. Barely. We'll see if we still can get the altitude. Oh, I'm not going to revert, right? This was not a Kerbal failure. This is my failure. So I am going. This is something that I do for myself. If the game screws up, I'm willing to revert. If it's something which is really, really stupid, I'll revert. This was my stupidity in that I just forgot to make sure that the rocket would be good. Okay. Did I lose the oh, there's the probe. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to get a little something back, not a lot. Well, Porter, I've never done RSS or ORO. For me at least, they're just it's too much. I have enough trouble doing things like this. And I'm just gonna, oh great. I just want to get this back, and then I'm gonna relaunch this. I'll add the fins, which I forgot to add last time. So now I've not yet installed the Hurricane, which I demoed last week. The Hurricane is a new mod that it's a revival of an old mod, and I really do want to get it because once I start doing exploring Kerbin, I'll be using it to drop probes and instead of having to land all over the place. All right, so let's see what we got here. We're almost down. Where is Kerbin? Oh, there it is. Oops. Thank you, and let's recover it so I get something back. So I lost a little money. Hello, Jade, and welcome. Okay. So as soon as we get back, I'll fix that and try it again. So what it actually didn't cost me too much. Let's get back into the VAB. Hello, Jim. Jim Valenti. Everyone say hi to Jim. He is a great streamer, a really nice guy, and every time he stops by to say hi, I feel honored. There we go. One of the issues, I believe, is that I don't have SAS, that good SAS yet. Okay, so that should solve those problems. All right, let's try it again. So for the people who may be new to Kerbal, if you have questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer them, and there are several extremely good players here in the chat who, if I can't answer the question, would be more than happy to answer also. Jim doesn't try to be nice. He is nice. He's being very bashful. All right, so let's try this again. All right, we're going suborbital in 3, 2, 1. And there we go. That. Oh, I need to move my... Definitely no chance of flipping now. I'm actually having trouble tilting over because it's so good, but it's okay for this particular mission because all I need to do is to get high. I don't need to go into orbit. I just like tilting over for fun. And look at that view. Okay, we have an AP of 30, about 40. Get this, I got the Kerbal Engineer now. In this vessel, and we're at 22,000, getting some heating effects, but that should be okay. And we have hit our more than enough to go suborbital. And so what I'm going to do, once we get somewhat higher, I will be decoupling. And let's go now. And that was really just, this actually is capable of getting into orbit. I just wanted to get away from the boosters. So I have 32 gig here, and when I upgraded from 16 gig to 32 gig, we have now gone suborbital. So what I'm actually going to do is just let it sit, turn off SCS, turn off RCS, and just see what happens. When I went to 32 gig, I thought, oh wow, so much memory. The next day I ran out of memory. Because once you have it, you start using it and use more and more and more, and all of a sudden you run out, and it's not there anymore. It can be very annoying when you need memory and it's not there, and then you have to go playing games in order to get rid of what you really don't need. 128, well, that's a bit much. I I can't see myself needing it that anytime. And I'm going to do some time warping here. Okay. And we'll just do some more warping. Actually, I want to make point retro just because. Okay. Well, I can believe that. I've been doing this for a very long time, and my very first computer, believe it or not, had 4K, not meg, 4K of memory. And that 4K cost $100. So what I'm actually going to do is let go of that, and I got a nice heat shield here, and we'll let that take care of it now. Okay, stage recovery hasn't picked anything up yet. I'm not sure if it will. We were pretty high when we dropped the stage, and it was going suborbital. So we may have just gone out of our physics range before stage recovery had a chance to pick it up. Yeah, I know. I actually, we have our database servers at work where we have 256 gig of memory in them. And, you know, server boards, fine, but server boards, Jim, you have to keep in mind that they are optimized for being servers. They're not necessarily optimized for gaming or graphics or whatever. So you need to make sure that in addition to the memory, that you have it'll do what you need in terms of the graphics as quickly as possible. Also, otherwise, it's a end up being a waste. Nope, we don't use Oracle, believe it or not. Our main databases, believe it or not, are a version of MySQL, and we're talking about fairly big databases. Okay. Oh. And we also have a number of secondary Postgres databases. Someone said server board. Oh, it was CanTab. Sorry, Jim. So, Jim, when you are ready to do that upgrade, I would like to know what what motherboard you do get. Philip, Ian, we would need to see, if nothing else, a minimum would need to see a picture. Okay. Things can oscillate for any number of reasons, but if we can see a picture, we can then easily determine if it is an airflow issue or if it's a balance issue, etc. But just saying that, it's like on the forum, someone says, something's not working, help me, and we say we need log files. Well, in this case, we need to know what it is we're talking about. All right. If you can, and I do not have any restrictions on posting links. So if you want to upload a picture to Imgur or some other picture place and post the link here, be my guest. And we would not use Oracle because it may sound like a joke, but one of the things, Oracle likes to look at your bank account before they decide what to charge you. And they will take just enough so that so that you can stay in business, but they want to suck the life out of the company. Again, Philip, we still need to see a picture of the ship if you can. If it's in orbit, and you're just bouncing back and forth, I wonder if it's your controls are too powerful. All right. For example, if you're using RCS to do the positioning, and the RCS is too strong, that might induce an oscillation. Just gonna recover this, but again, we need a picture. Ah, good. Oracle is a very good database, don't get me wrong. They just have very strange pricing, and every time I've looked at it in the past years, it has been strange. Ooh, look at that. What's that? Oh, you got something. We can recover that. Let's take a look at the map view. Okay, untitled. All right, so there's no debris floating around. Okay, now I do have a scanning mission going on, I believe. Is it here? Yep, Minmus scanner, still in progress. So I just want to take a look at it, see where we are. Minmus scanner 1, fly it. Well, I'll tell you about cooling, okay? I have a heatsink on this system, which is literally about this big, okay? And it has fans on both sides, push and pull. The nice thing is that it's effective enough that they rarely go. You rarely hear them, even when I'm doing some intense stuff. So let's take a look at scan set. Not there yet. Okay. So it's going to be a little while before we get that finished. I can believe it. Yes, you're actually, Willie, you are the first person in chat to say that. Congratulations. I have gotten it very often, and I was wondering when somebody would finally say it. So you got it. You got you are number one. And it's okay. I'm not offended. Okay. Okay. So let's go in for the next one. Hardened Patriot, I would say that for $500 to $600 you can get a decent computer. You would not have a state-of-the-art CPU. You would not have a state-of-the-art video card. That being said, it would be equivalent to what was state-of-the-art a couple of years ago. And that would be more than enough to play KSB, to play most of the games on the market. All right. It just means that you would end up having to upgrade or replace it sooner than if you did get a state-of-the-art system. There's a curve, which I don't have a drawing thing. It's like a wave. So at the top of the wave, you get the most performance, and it's very expensive. Then you come back, you just pass the crest of the waves, where you get about the best price bang for the buck, and then you go down, and things get cheaper and slower, etc. So okay, so excuse me, Philip just posted a link. I want to take a quick look at it. Philip, how many control active not reaction wheels, but how many command parts do you have on there? What you need to do is to make sure that only one, it doesn't really matter which one, but obviously the one in the center would be best. But I would lay odds that you probably have more than one command vehicle there, and they're all probably controlling, sending commands to the reaction wheels. So that's the first thing you want to do is make sure you only have a single a command pod or probe, etc. And that way, you're only going to get commands from one place, because you have two things, and this one says make this adjustment, but this one is going to get its information a split second later, so what it's going to send is a little different from what this one does. All right. So that's what I think you need to do initially. Okay. Beyond that, I would have to, obviously this was a quick look. I'd have to take a look at the craft file. But if you want to make the craft file available, and maybe someone else can download and take a look at it. I'm running Intel. I actually have a secondary system here, which is running a quad-core AMD, which is a few years old. I like Intel because it has better protections. Give you an example. If the heatsink happens to pop off of the CPU, and I've seen it happen, a AMD will literally fry, and it will literally go up in smoke, and Intel will see that it's getting too hot and automatically throttle down. Okay. That being said, as long as you have good hardware, it's not that bad. Okay. Low-res scan is still in progress. 2 Kerbals, I can't do that right now. I will be able to get to it, but what we can do now is get 2 vessels in orbit. All right. So let's load, and I want to get. I thought I had orbit. Scan 1. Okay, it doesn't look like I had any. I saved it. All right, so we build a new ship. Not a problem. All right, so we got that, and we're going to want a heat shield. Now what we're going to have to do is this is going to be send up. I'll be sending up 2 of them. Oops, not head. Okay, and a couple of. Pentium 3, oh, I remember those. Okay, so actually I want monoprop. Too big. Okay, how much RCS? It should be enough there. So when it says rendezvous, it doesn't mean we have to. We don't have to dock. All right. Oops. Make sure about that. That is a. Oops, that's liquid fuel. Maybe I'll change that to liquid. No, I need that because. Willie, I was very happy with my Apple II when I had it. Doesn't mean I didn't want something better. All right. So that is not a lot. Not meant to be a lot, but still, I thought I had a little more than that. Oh. Oh, that's better. I keep forgetting this engine sucks in the atmosphere. But when I'm in space, it's better. This gives me 1100, more than enough. Okay. Oh, Hardened Patriot. When you say it wouldn't take off, because the computer wouldn't do it, or it was just too big to actually fly? Okay, so now we'll do atmospheric. .280 to 300, 280 to 340. All right, so that'll be 2400. Hardened Patriot, are you sure that, I assume the staging was good, so is it possible you had engines on there which there wasn't any fuel for? $4,200. Hmm. 27. Actually, I don't want that. I want parachutes there. Again, I want parachutes on everything. So that stage recovery has a good chance of recovering it. Okay. So then we're getting there. It's 2737. That's going to be about 4100 delta V. I actually want a little bit more than that. Why don't I do this? Add another tank and see what it does. 1946. Okay. All right. 1820. That's 38. 46. That should do it. Okay. Now, fins, because this thing is definitely going to need fins going up. And yes, I know they're clipping. And now they're not clipping. So, and of course we don't want all these parachutes here. So why don't we do this first? All right, 1826. Now what I could do, 1.2. I like a little higher delta V at start. So what I'm going to do is this. Do that. And what I'll do is I'll just throttle back to maintain the delta V, but I'll do it this way. Okay. And then what will happen is once when I drop these stages off, I will manually bring that back up to full throttle. And I'm also going to go for fuel lines. There we go. Oops, that's not quite what I wanted. Where is edit extensions? Check the settings. Not. Alright, that's better. Except that it then got rid of it entirely. Alright, let's get rid of it and try it again. Uber Kalti, hello and welcome. Try this again. There we go. It's much better. All right. So for those who don't know, I just use editor extensions in order to do a much nicer lineup of the fuel line. So now we have, and it's not going to make that much difference, but 2636, that'll be 4400 delta V to get me into orbit. And what I'll do is I'll aim for a 100-kilometer orbit, and that way that'll give me space above and below in order to match orbits. So great. All right. So now take a look at this. This is Werner's checker. We don't have RCS. Thank you. I have the fuel, but I didn't have the thrusters. And I don't have reaction wheels on the ship. I don't think I need it. I think that I have more than enough monoprop that I should be able to handle it without any issues. And I'm not even going to bother checking them to make sure they're perfectly centered, because again, we're not going for a docking. We're just going for getting close to each other, and then going for a spacewalk. Okay, so we got that. RCS, and it's unhappy because I got 4. The RCS quantities probably, actually one of these things has a problem. Yeah, the RCS isn't working properly in Werner's checker. I need to work on that. Electricity storage. We don't have any electrical storage. We don't have any solar panels. I'm not sure I need it because there's going to be a Kerbal, and I'm not relying on reaction wheels. So let's not worry about that. Power source, same thing. So other than that, I think we're all set. All right. So call this rendezvous 1, and we'll save that. So before I leave the VAB, anybody have any comments? And otherwise, I will just go ahead and we will go. I'll wait a minute. All right, no comments. I'm gonna go do a launch. Let's check the Kerbals. We got Jebediah, and the next one will be Valencia. So. Yes, this is running the Uber. This is the ETT, which is the engineering tech tree. But I also have. Oh no, game crashed. I haven't had this happen for a while. So let's just start it up again. Sorry about that. While that's loading, I'm going to take a quick look to see if... I don't think it ran out of memory because I would have gotten other messages, but I'm just going to check the log file just to see. Yeah, I had 15 gig of memory free. So there was an access violation, but it doesn't say what. And it's very annoying when that happens. Let's see what the last thing here. We had null reference. Oh, crew manifest. Ah. I got null refs from crew manifest. Since that may be one of the mods I've installed, which is not fully compatible, that would explain why I'm having the problem. Why it crashed. Because I got crew and this is the first crew. Is it the first crew I'm launching? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If it happens again, I'll just uninstall that mod and try again and try without that. Crew man. Now it says that it's fully compatible. So we'll see. So we got Jim, thank you. That's a very good board. I have the ROG 4, I believe. And you're going for the 5, which is the this is not spam. And for whatever reason, they thought this was spam. So yeah, Jim, that's I'd love to get the i12 or any of the newer CPUs. Can't afford it. Let's get back in here. Get in there. Good thing I saved the vessel. So a mod which I haven't added, which I'm probably going to add soon since I'm starting to get into the crew now, is crew R&R, which is a crew R&R is a mod which forces you, which makes the Kerbals go on vacation after they complete a mission. So it forces you to use more Kerbals than just Jeb or whoever it is they use. And this lets you continue to use Jeb and your other orange suits, and yet they go away sometimes and you get to use others. So let's load the vessel. Alright, go into here, good job, and let's launch and let's see if it crashes. Keep your fingers crossed. I think we're good. Yes, we are. Great. No idea why that happened, but we'll be fine. All right, so this is our first of 2 manned vessels to go into orbit. I use MechJub for these sorts of launches simply because I've done it. I don't need to do it again. Well, Pap, I know of one in terms of a memory leak. Is that what you're talking about, or is it something else? Okay. While you work on that, let me get my going. So if anyone is interested, right now KSP is using about 28% of my CPU, and it's using about 5.2 gig of memory. Pap, I'm reading. It's not a bug. Why don't you go up onto GitHub and open a feature, open an issue, and I'll mark it as a feature request. That shouldn't be that difficult to do. But other than the, hold on a second. All right, so we had separation. Good sep. There they go. They didn't collide with each other. Anyway, Pap, other than the suicide burn, I'm more in a maintenance mode right now, just fixing bugs, waiting for 1.3 to drop. I wish that image was bigger, Jim. But I love it. And I'm saving it. Alright, so we have now... We're heading up to orbit, which is good. I just turned on RCS to give McJeb a little bit of a help. Okay, so we're coasting up. Looks like we just got into space. McJeb is aligning and will then warp until time for the burn. Yeah, Jim, you have any idea where that image originally came from? And we are circularizing. And as usual, we have way too much, an overbuilt rocket. Alright, but that's fine. I don't mind overbuilding. Alright, so we are circularized. Okay. And I am going to leave this here with the full stage, even though I probably don't need it, until I get the other one up here. And once I've launched the next one, then I'll decide what I want to do in terms of the tanks. Alright, so let's head on back to the Space Center. Hi, Torek. I'm not sure if I saw you before. Well, the localization isn't that going to be that bad for most mods. It really depends on how text heavy a mod is. I mean, a lot of mods, there's very little text, and some of the stuff is just going to stay the same anyway. I mean, M for meters is going to stay the same no matter what language you're in. Okay. So in terms of the mods which do have text, I've done something like this many years ago. I'm going to write a program which is going to scan my mods, one at a time, of course, find all the text streams and write them out to a file. And then that's going to end up being the localization file, and then I will be able to replace every string there in the mod with a proper call to load it from that file. And once I've done that, it'll be fairly easy. In order I'm not going to do any translations, but I'll be more than happy to have other people do the translations and incorporate it. And yes, contract packs do have a lot of text, especially yours. I think one of mine, the mod which is governments, state funding, is has a significant amount of text also, which is going to have to be translated. All right, let's go into here. Hello, Rocket. Welcome back. Did you have your food? And Rocket, we are in the middle of a contract to get 2 vessels to rendezvous in orbit. It's always good to have the streamers fed. Okay. Cantab, good night all. Thank you very much for coming, and I look forward to see you next week. All right. So now, Valencia, great. And frankly, I was a little unhappy about do I have the clamps yet? Yes, I do. I'll just do that. Okay. Great. And let's go launch Valencia. Tarek, that's why I have to change it, because it's actually a copyrighted image from a Linux magazine. I've contacted them. I wanted to license it. I was willing to pay a little money. Unfortunately, they wanted £350 for me to license it for the use that I told them I wanted to do it with. And frankly, for me, that's $450, and I'm not going to spend that kind of money. So I actually had someone on the forums whip up a replacement. And I have a thread on the forums looking for comments. I also did a couple of pictures on the forum, what I was looking for. So let me see. Maybe I can dig it out real fast. Okay. In the meantime, we need to go here. All right. Set as target. Okay. So now I've never had a lot of luck with MechJeb doing rendezvous in terms of it doing it. So I'm just going to do it myself, and I'll figure I will launch when he's around here. In the meantime, let me see if I can find this, see my activity. Just give me a second. Here we are. So this is a you take a look at this forum, at that thread. Like I said, the image is very nice, but it's a little somewhat simplistic for what I'm looking for. Pap, if you when you're ready to do that, give me a holler, and I'll see what I can do with you. In the meantime, I haven't done any work on my side yet because they haven't finished with their work. So until Squad finishes, to a large extent, their localization stuff, I can't. I'm not going to bother doing anything. So it's going to time warp here carefully. So I figure if he's around here, that'll be a good time for me to launch. Right there. Okay. We'll go there. We are going to launch. I'm actually going to aim for well, let's aim for the 100 and see what comes up. Okay, we are ready to launch our rendezvous. And there it is. In 135. 3, 2, 1, engage. Oh no. Okay. Ha. Silly me, I forgot to check the staging on the launch clamps. There they are. Bye-bye. I'm actually going to wait a little bit. I want to see if... No, they're not going to go out of they're going to crash. No. Yep. Where are they going to go? Oh, there's one. Okay. So let's go back, and I will just recover this and do it again. That's embarrassing. Well, what happened was that I believe that the main engine actually had a little throttle, so it softened its going down so it didn't impact the ground that hard. Well, I haven't killed anybody yet. Yes, I do. Hold on. Okay, this is a list to a Google spreadsheet of all of the mods that I currently maintain, and I'm hoping we aren't crashing again. There we go. If you scroll down the screen, you'll see the mods. There's another spreadsheet link, which are the mods which are in the current game, and that is up to date right now. All right, so here's what we got to do. Here's my problem. The second issue was that once I realized what had happened, I hit space again, so I immediately staged the two boosters. Valencia. Well, maybe it was Valencia's birthday and she just needed a couple of Roman candles as, for a birthday cake. Pap, I am not an artist, not by far, so I saw this flying penguin. I I believe it was actually back in 2010. And I've been using it pretty much ever since. But unfortunately, hopefully I'll be able to come up with something, either on my own or if I can get one of our many graphic artists on the forums. All right. So we are going to try this again. Let's go into orbit. Where are we? Oh. Well. We're just going to go 3, 2, 1. There we go. We have cleared the tower. And okay, I know that in real life you couldn't launch another rocket 5 minutes later, but it's a game. Willie, it's worth it. And right now I believe that it's actually on sale at 40% off. Rocket, I saw that on your stream earlier. Was that a Steam sale? So what I have noticed with MetJet is that, especially with vessels like this, it's and these launches, it tends to wiggle a little bit. Nothing dangerous, but it's just one of those annoying things. Thank you, Rocket. So Willie, go for it. It's well worth it. Willie, let me give you an example. When I buy a game, I look to, it's a personal thing, I figure that for every dollar I spend, I want to get an hour of fun out of it. Okay? And there, of course, there have been a lot of games in which that hasn't happened. Okay? But Kerbal is so far on the other side that by itself it's more than made up for all the money I've ever spent on games. Okay? Looks like we're going to be a little ahead. And I'm not the only one. It's fun. And if I then add all the hours that I put in working on mods, it's huge. And for me, half the fun of playing this game is writing the mods, maintaining them, etc. So yeah, it's more than worth it. And I would say that the PC, when I heard they were coming out on the console, it's like, it didn't mean too much to me because I don't have a console at all. But even when they come out with the fixes for the console, it's still not the same. You'll never be able to have the mods or the sheer number of mods for the console that you have on the system, on the PC. CCAN has, I believe, over 1,000 mods, and there are more beyond that. There's a number of people who don't like using CCAN, or just never bothered. All right, so let's see where we are here. We are. So we're 100 kilometers away. That's not bad. So I'm going to disengage and stop. And now for this one, I am going to get rid of the big rock because I don't need it. not for this. So let's see, we want to the one thing I didn't do was to put a probe core on this rocket so I could get it out of orbit. I keep forgetting to do that. Alright, so what I want to do then, let's get rid of that. Okay, I want to raise my periapsis by about 10. Actually, you know, I'm not even going to bother with this. This is such a simple maneuver. I'm just going to wing it. Okay, so first we want to decouple. All right, and we got that. So great. So we want to go prograde. All right, and so periapsis we want to raise that to say 110. Okay, so we'll raise the AP, not the periapsis. I'm sorry. That should do. Okay. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not. Like I said, I don't have a console. My son has a console, but he lives about 1,000 miles away from me. But I'm not aware of console games being as configurable and expandable as PC games. Now, I admit that I've never really had a lot of fun on the PC games, on the console, and I have played them a little bit. All right, but it's no. I realize I'm a bit of an oldie. So we'll do that and stop. Great. So now. Quick save. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a warp, and if I make a mistake on the warping, I don't mind going back. All right, so. Okay. Oh, I also realized that I need to do this so that I don't hide the Kerbal. Alright. Get in here. Oh, look, he's 2.3 kilometers ahead of us. Isn't that nice? Alright, so now okay. So it looks like I've actually done the first part, which is the rendezvous. Okay, so I just want to get a little closer. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. Actually, I want prograde. Target. There we go. Sundog, I don't know if it would be what they would actually want in terms of, you know, bang for the buck. Okay, mods are not universally popular. Okay, and you know, a lot of people who get the console really aren't interested in modding. They just want to play the game as is. For whatever reason, maybe they, you know, some people don't like the idea of mods. And frankly, I used to be along that line. A lot of times, I would get a game and you know, if it doesn't do what I want, it's like the heck with it. I mean, then I come across something like Kerbal, and it's like, well, you know, sometimes there's a reason. You know, the publishers can only do so much. Great. All right, so we are pretty much, there we go. So now we're going to do our EVA. I don't need ascent guidance anymore. All right, we will EVA Valencia, and there she goes. We just completed that part of the contract, and what I'm going to do is get a EVA report. Yes, I will keep it, and I'm going to board, get another crew report if we can. Nope, no crew report. Okay, fine. So let's go to the other vessel. Mainly because I want this guy to also Jebediah. Let's go EVA. And he can get an EVA report. Keep it. And we'll board again. Alright. So now what I'm going to do with this rocket, since I did not get rid of the booster, I can actually, when I re-enter, I can just use the booster to slow down. That way it goes in, it'll go into the atmosphere, it'll get destroyed, and I'll minimize the amount of space junk which I need to clean up. I'm not going to delete space junk manually unless I start having problems. What I want to try to do eventually is maybe go out and take care of it myself. Okay, so we're going to do here. You can see here in the left, explore Kerbin. We have fulfilled that contract, and we are now pointing retrograde. All right, and where are we here? Okay, not going to worry about pinpoint landings, especially since it's just going to be destroyed. So let's go. Okay. Oops, that's a bit too much. So what I'm going to do here is jettison. Okay, and because I don't want to be anywhere near that vessel. And now let's do our re-entry. Okay. Sure, Isbang. Go ahead and post a picture. I'd love to see it. Yeah, the rocket. Are you aware, familiar with the story that when the Gemini astronauts first tried docking, they spent how many? They spent like 2 or 3 hours circling each other, because even though they had PhDs and doctorates, and they knew intellectually how to do it, when you actually get up there and you try doing it, it just doesn't make any sense. So they had to actually stop and talk. They went back and they were talking, and they figured out what they were doing wrong. Then they were able to do the docking, the rendezvous and docking. But that first time they kept going around and around the Aegina. So we are coming in, and actually, let's just go ahead and take care of that. And now whenever I do this, I always like tilting a little, because what that does is that lets it fly a little bit and just get it out of the paths, because I've had them come back and hit each other and not quite kill the Kerbals, but close enough. So hopefully I'm out of the path of it. I love this. So as just goes over the edge. So we're at 25,000 meters, speed of 1,500. Looks like we have three or four Gs going on right now. It's really amazing that Squad has managed to do what they did. Okay. I mean, if you look at it, they were a company who had zero experience with gaming. And somebody had an idea, I want to make a game. I don't know why they said go for it. And it took a while for them to actually come out with something which was worthwhile. But now at least the game is pretty darn good. I got the game just about 2 weeks before 025 came out, which means I've been doing it about 3 years now. And it was okay. I mean, it was certainly playable, obviously. Go ahead and post the link. I don't have anything going on Isbang. But they've managed through 1.0, which I really don't think should have been called a 1.0. Okay, but that's personal opinion. Come on. No, there we go. Ooh. Yes, okay. But 1.22 is actually a pretty good piece of software. It is a very complicated program, and it's never going to be perfect. But the really nice thing is that they're continuing to work. It is about as open a platform as you can possibly expect. All right. Can I? Not yet. Okay. All right. So it's a. I'm just very happy with it. Let's plant the flag. What happened? Okay, it ran into the okay. Now, I think I got it on here. Let me take a look. There was a little mod I resurrected at someone's request. Okay, site name, first landing. Here I returned from space. Alright. Hello, come on. Okay. Cute little mod which lets you rotate the flag. Not stock. I believe it's called flag rotate. Okay. So let's go back in here and F aboard. Yes, we'll dump because we have it already. And now we're going to recover this. Flags don't give any. They do reputation, but not money, not science. Rocket, maybe you can elaborate on the flags. Now, Pap, I understand why they did 1.0. They've been promising for so long, but it really was not a 1.0 quality. So, all right. So we got the science we've been going for, which is great. But let's get Valencia down first. No, I didn't. Is Bing? Let me take a look at right now. There we go. Oh, nice. Very nice, is Bang. And it's stable in orbit. That's even nicer. All right. So I want to do... fly it. I believe they that if you have a bunch of Kerbals on one mission, I believe that with 1.2, when one Kerbal plants a flag, they all get the experience for that. Willie, I don't believe the flags really affect your item count that much. Alright, so here is Valencia. And we are on top of Kerbin. Now, I always have trouble finding here. Whoa. There it is. Okay, so what I want to do then, if I want to land here, we want to deorbit right about there. Up there. Alright, so now let's go. Oh no. I'm debating whether to revert because that was a it didn't respond, and I thought I had to hit space to activate the. I suppose I could get her out, have it get out and push. No. Let's see if we can do this. Oops. I guess there are reaction wheels on here, which don't work if you're not on the vessel. Okay, board. We'll do one try at slowing using EVA to oops. No, not going to work. So I'm not going to waste time doing this. Board it. Alright, rescue time. I can't, Isbang, I was trying to, but unfortunately, once, even though there is SAS on here, once I leave, once she leaves, it disables itself. Because we're not at the level yet where we can do it. So I'll just let her, I'll leave her there for a little bit. She's not going to die yet. And let me see if I can do a quick rescue mission with a drone ship. Okay. But really, that to a certain extent, that's because of lag. The game was a little slow and it wasn't responding properly. So when I hit the spacebar, well, that's what happened. Okay. However, I got the science I need in order to do this. So that'll give me a 2 Kerbal ship. That's the K2 command pod. It'll also give me the Mark III-9 from Curlington, as well as some others, which means I might be able to, I can use those in order to set up a rescue mission. So a rescue mission and fulfilling another contract at the same time. Porter John, good night. Thank you for stopping by. And I'll look for you online the next time I'm up. Okay. Okay. Pap, I'm trying not to revert. And I realize that I'm responding to a message from 4 minutes ago. Yeah, stuff happens, you know. So let's see if we can work around the stuff, and if it's really bad, I can revert. But so we want a K2. K2 is a nice little pod which was out many years ago, and the author is gone. I could also use this one, but that's quite a bit bigger. Okay, even though the Mark III-9 is a 2-person pod. Okay, so the K2 is really what I want for this decoupler, because it doesn't need anything bigger. So what I'm actually going to do is this. Okay, I'm not going to save that. I'm just going to load up the same vessel I had before. It's something like a Gemini. Okay, so change the root part. I didn't like it when I first saw it, but it's kind of grown on me. Why is everything going on too big? Oh. Yeah, that doesn't have a scale. Change size. Double shoot. No, doesn't. Okay. I guess I'm stuck with this one. Stuck is really the wrong word. But what I'm a little concerned is that this will be big enough to actually land it. It's a little. But also you have to realize that well, hard to say. There actually are some mods which are better replicas of Gemini. This is Gemini-like, okay, which is good enough. All that. Yes. So everything else is good. And make sure that the parachute is the last thing on the stage. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do, since it seems, just put some parachutes on the main stage in case it happens to get into a phase where it can be recovered. Oh, right. Since I'm doing this, I didn't install bumps here yet, did I? No. Bumps is another mod that I'm about to release. Again, it's not mine. It's a revival of an old one. I think I showed it last week. It's essentially the same thing as the standard probe cores, but it was made before probe cores were a thing, and if nothing else, it just looks a little nicer. So. Put MechJeb over there. There we go. And so by having MechJeb there, what hopefully will happen is that I will continue having control, and I will be able, even if I decouple, I'll be able to land it. All right. So this is rescue 1. Save it. And crew, Jebediah and Bob. We don't want Bob. But I think what I'm going to do is that I'm not going to bother getting the capsule back. I may try, but worst case, I can just have her transfer over. All right. So okay. RCS, we're fine. Power source. We don't need electricity storage. Problem with electricity is that I'm going to it'd be a problem with the solar panels, especially since this is not really a I don't intend to be in orbit for long. It has 75 electric charge. Ooh. Reaction wheel 8? Wow. Just out of curiosity, what is this one reaction wheel? $20. Okay. So let's go launch. Make sure about Jebediah, yes, and let's go. Favorite mod? I don't know. I'd actually have to go look at them. Favorite in terms of what it can do. I happen to like Janitor's Closet a lot because it's about the one with the most functionality of anything that I've done. I am aware of a small memory leak in it, but other than that, it works quite well now. Other mods are KW. KW Rocketry is a real fun, excuse me, is a really great mod. I love the sounds. It's getting a little old, but it still does what I need. So we are, oh, is that her? Yes, it is, which means that I want to take off in a couple of minutes. Set as target 100. Go a little closer. No, I have a low-res scan going active right now. This is a, what happened? Hold on a second. I had a contract to get 2 Kerbals in orbit. It disappeared. That's a nice plane, Jim. Not quite a perfect copy of the SR-71, but pretty darn close. Okay. What happened to my contracts? Active. Available. I lost the contract. Unless it expired. Huh. What happened to that contract? Oh. I bet you I know what happened. It got fulfilled because by the previous one. So this is just going to turn into a straight rescue mission. I would lay odds that 2 Kerbals in orbit got fulfilled because I had 2 Kerbals in orbit, but not in the same vessel, but they were both launched on new vessels after I accepted the contract. I betcha. Okay, so let me get this into orbit, and then once it's in orbit, I'll double check the archives. But I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. The rendezvous was intended to complete the rendezvous contract, but the one I'm looking for was 2 Kerbals on a single vessel at the same time. But I think that it got fulfilled by either by accident or whatever. 2 Kerbals in orbit. There it is. See, it's supposed to be on the same craft. I wasn't on the same craft, but it got done. But I'm going to do this anyway, just because. And it's time to take off. 3, 2, 1, and lift off with Rescue 1. We have Zebediah on the initial flight of the K2 command pod. I'm not sure. It probably is a minor bug in the contract mod. I'd have to go take a look at it. But look, I'm going to fulfill it anyway. It's not a big deal. It's just nice to know what happened. Pap, was that one of yours? I'd have to go into the save file to see exactly where that contract came from. But it might be a bug in contract configurator. I don't know. But they were both supposed to be launched on the same vessel, and they weren't. I don't particularly want to go too fast yet, but we're still too low in the atmosphere. Coming up on staging. Staging, successful staging, full throttle. And there they go. no impact. Let's go. It looks like we're going to be a little behind, so what I'm going to do is change this on the fly to 95. MechJeb is good at that. And that way I'll be going a little faster and I'll be able to catch up. Yeah, definitely going to be behind. Pap, I would lay odds that you're probably saying 2 curtlers in orbit, both which will launch on new vessels, but not necessarily on the same one. I don't have time to look at it now. Besides, I'm not that good at the on contract packs, which is why I'm not doing them anymore. I'm maintaining what I have. All right, so Pap, open an issue. I'm kind of, I would say post into the contract configurator thread and open an issue on the forum. And hopefully, I know he isn't spending a lot of time on it, but I also know that he's planning on getting back to it, so. Coming up on our circularization burn. There we go. Okay. Super Dave Kerman, it's not stock contract code. This is, it's PAP's code. It's using contract configurator, and there's something wrong there. That's all. All right, we are in orbit. Let's see where we are. We are a little behind. It looks like over here we're going to be pretty darn close. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to orbit, go for an orbit. First I'm going to F5 for safety. Okay, and we're going to orbit to here. .44 kilometers away. Go to here. .47 kilometers away. Oh, she's also low. Ooh. Okay. Actually. Okay. I'm actually going to do this, okay? I'm going to detach, because I have more than enough propellant over here. And I'm going to see if I can deorbit the main rocket. And then I'm going to use the engine on the service module to do the rest of the maneuvers. So 3, 2, 1 for separation. There we go. And there we go. So here, actually, we want to go, whoops. Okay. The problem is that even though I gave I have control, I don't have any RCS here. So I'm going to have to actually ignite the engine very gently, if I can. I can't. Why not? Because I have no probe control. Okay, I thought McJub gave it to me. All right. Okay, so don't worry about that. And what I want to do here is okay. So it looks like that's going to be close enough. Up to here. Yep, you're right. I haven't docked any craft, and I'm not planning on docking. I'm just going to, because I don't have docking ports. I'm going to either nudge Val out of orbit, or she'll just EVA over. It really all depends on how things go there. All right, so here. Okay, I want to target. Great. I'm a little impatient. I don't want to go. Wait. So I'm just going to do a few orbital maneuvers here because I have more than enough delta V to do this. And this is a not the most efficient, but it's the way I learned by watching Scott Manley. Okay, so now we want to face the target, wherever that is. Great. All right. And okay, so a little. Okay. I will get back to you in a moment. I just want to get this maneuver. Good, we're within it's closer than I hoped. Okay, and now let's go face the target again. Almost there. And so Pap, they both went EVA, okay? So I don't know if that had any relationship, but they did not. But no docking. They didn't touch each other, etc. And before anyone begins to ask, no, I will never consider adopting contract configurator. I know that somebody was going to ask sooner or later. but it's not a mod I want to touch. Oh, no, 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 no. That was bad. I accidentally hit the wrong key. All right. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to rescue Val. I don't care about the pod. It'd be nice to get it back, but not a big deal. One of the things I'm looking forward to in the expansion is the mission, is the whole editor. I think that's more exciting than anything else they can possibly do. Giving everybody the chance to be able to do their own editing for missions. There we go. Okay, so let me see what I can do here. Okay, I got RCS. The problem with this is that it's going to be too difficult to push. So I'm going to just get Val out of there. Here's the hatch on this thing. There we are. Board. Yay! Alright, so let's orbit. Let's go retro. Okay. And let's go home. Problem, I don't know where carbon is right now. Oh, there it is. Come on. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to, about halfway here, I will do my retro burn, and that way when it come down it'll be landing in the daylight. Okay, so let's go retro. And I want to drop down to about 45 kilometer periapsis. 3, 2, 1, 6, 5, 4. There we go. Okay, and that should do it. Okay, Bye-bye pod. Okay. Yes, contract recompletion again. All right. So, you know, make sure about that. Yep, we can jettison that. There we go. Okay. I don't know. And let's see. No RCS or anything. We shall just let it go into do its normal thing. Don't need that. We'll keep that there. Okay. Yep. And it has all the ablator, so it should be more than enough. It's interesting that when it actually did the decouple, the force of decoupling didn't start it turning. And at this point now, of course, the aerodynamics is doing a nice job keeping it steady. All right. No. Let's just get this down as quickly as possible. QRDS2, welcome. We are in the middle of rescuing Valencia from an accidental decoupling in space. We're using the K2 command pod. It's the ETT engineering tech tree that we're using. And I'm actually going to be, this is going to be the last mission for the night. Partially because I have to get up really early and I'm getting a migraine headache. So I need to go take some medicine. But in the meantime, let's get this down. No creep shots. Okay, so we'll just let it go. Also, my dog is whining at me. It is going well now. Nobody died yet, although there was the interesting situation where we tried launching the rocket and the main stage stayed there and the two boosters went up. So, luckily no one got hurt, nothing got damaged. We have re-entered in terms of, we used about 35-36 of the ablator, and we are actually able to deploy the chutes anytime we want. But we want to get a little lower. Let's get through the cloud layer, and then we will let go. No advanced tweakables. Altitude 7,500. Looks like we're over the ocean. Yes. Yes, we are. $4,800. I'm just taking pictures. And time to deploy chutes. Let's hope that it's good enough. Because this was a tweak scaled chute. It's not it's the Mark 16, which has been rescaled down to half its size. Okay. No, not really. Too high. So I got a question for all you. You heard the twanging sound of the alarm, okay? So I had one person complain that it didn't sound good to be an alarm, for it to be like a guitar twanging, and I'm wondering what other people think about that. It's certainly easy enough to change, but I don't want to change just because of one person, and I'm wondering if anyone else thinks that it should be changed or not. Okay. Unfortunately, Valencia will not be able to plant a flag here. And we have splashdown. No crew report, okay. There we go. What I will do is let her go EVA and EVA report. Nothing there. Board again, and I guess we get to recover. See, that was my thing. It's an alarm, you know, and there are so many alarms which go off. Dang It has different alarms. I go burp, 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 and it's fine. It gets your attention. That's the whole idea. Okay. We have very little science right now, but that's okay. Everyone's been saved. No one's died. Val's to level 1. Jebediah's to level 2. Great. All right. So let's just take a quick look here. Career Evolution is offering me 7. Crude flybys are even doing it. Nope. Crude milestones. Orbit for a week. Okay. One Kerbal, stay there for a week. First orbital EVA. Well, that's interesting since I already did it. And rendezvous. We did that also. But, you know something? Pap, just take a note that I've done this stuff and for some reason we're getting them again. Archives. That would be the Career Evolution, which would be the 3 dots. Wish there was a way to show first crew, upper Emmett crew, first solid, low res, impact, geostationary. Looks like it might have put 2 Kerbals in orbit, reach suborbital and return. So it almost looks like, Pap, that there is still an issue. So Pap, before I accept these contracts, okay, the orbit 1 week is one thing, okay, but EVA and first rendezvous, do you want me to hold off for you to take a look at this, or should I just go ahead? Grimwald, if you're at a safe landing speed, then no beeps at all. That alarm is only if you're kind of coming in and you're going to die, basically. You're going to crash. It's a danger warning. We don't need any alarms if everything's okay. So Pap, what I'm going to do, it's Alt F5, right? Yes. Quick save. And what I'll do for you, Pap, is I'll save it in case you want me to come back to this. Save for Pap 753 test. Okay, it doesn't like the name game. Was it too long? or spaces. Invalid saving. And maybe just like underscores. Dash. We'll just do that. There we go. There was a space at the end. Okay. So, Pap, I've saved it for you. I'm going to go in and accept those contracts now. Since I got them here. And crude. Actually, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to accept crude milestones. We orbit for 1 week. Okay. And I'm going to launch it, and we'll leave that crew member in space until next week. It was the trailing space, Willie. The fact that there was a space at the end. I don't know if the space is in the middle, but I know that I've had spaces in the middle of save games before, but the space at the end. So in case anyone's interested, the game is currently using about 4.4 gigabyte of memory. And yeah, there's a bit of lag here just because it has to do so much when it comes in here, but we're fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to load Rendezvous 1 again, because we know that gets us into orbit. And I'm going to put Valencia on it, not Jebediah. Okay. And launch clamps, make sure that it's set right there. All right. Simaclept, I assume you're talking Linux, Red Hat, and CentOS. Mainly because it's my job, and I want something which is stable and going to be around for a long time. Right? Yes, I know all about Ubuntu, and I know all about all these others, but for production servers, nothing beats Red Hat and CentOS for stability, long-term reliability, etc. Give you an example. Some of our servers are still running Red Hat 5. Okay, these have been running 5 since I have no idea. Since before I was there, and they're working perfectly fine. So. Anybody who wants to discuss distros, I'll be very happy to. But I have no patience for people who are fanatics about something. I use Windows on my desktop. It works well. My laptop for my office is a Mac. Our servers at the office are 99% Linux. We have 2 Windows servers which are needed for Active Directory. It's a tool. You use the tools which get the job done. And someone tells me they want to use Ubuntu because they like Ubuntu, it doesn't get the job done for me because it's too unstable. Anyway, enough of the rant. No more rant. Want to do a launch. Before I do that, let me check one thing. I don't think I have any life support installed. No, I don't have. Hopefully I don't have life. I don't believe I have any life support installed, so we're just going to go ahead and launch this. This is a 1-week orbit. Rename. One-week orbital. Accept. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Full thrust and launch cams go, and up we go. Fedora is a nice distribution, but it is just like Ubuntu. It's bleeding edge. Bleeding edge meaning that they actually use Fedora to test out things before they put them into Red Hat. So Jim, what did you just post up here? Haha, nice. And this rocket is going to be... Actually, you know something? We're going to go to 300. Because I think I can get more science out there. All right, 7,000 meters. Speed is 324. By the way, Jim, if you take a look at that that thing I posted earlier, showing what I'm trying to come up with to replace space ducts, that's a little flying wing I developed in about 15 minutes. It actually flies. Not too great, but you know, when I figured I'd just throw it together and just get some pictures, and then I was able to fly the stupid thing. So, okay. Coming up on staging. We got stage separation, and go to full throttle. AP is at 45. We have 250 to go. It may be a single biome sun tag, but right now I'm going for for science as much as possible. And if I can get science up there on this mission, great. I always try to do multiple things on a single mission. You maximize your returns. AP is 73. We obviously gotten into space, or we will get into space. And MacJeb is doing a little bit of hunting here. That's because we're approaching the right AP. All right. So what I'll be able to do is once we're up there, and by the way, I did not bother putting a MacJeb onto here this time. Rather than just do a single descent from 300. If I want to, I can descend to a lower orbit, and then I can I'll be able to then do a more gentle re-entry. Not a big deal. Again, this is it's getting into the habit of doing things the right way, so that when you do need to do things like that, you don't have to think about it. It's just automatic. Okay. We have a 6-second burn in 10 seconds. Yeah, it looks like. Alright, we have now definitely in orbit. And we've circularized. And we're all done. So, crew report. Yep, get science there. We will go EVA. And we will go EVA report. Great. And we will board. Okay, great. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to decouple. We certainly don't need the big... well, actually, you know something? Let me do this. T, go retro. I'm actually going to... I have enough delta V in the command module that I can deorbit the whole thing, decouple, and then get myself back into orbit. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to thrust until the periapsis gets about 45, then I'll decouple, and then I will simply turn around and accelerate forward again. So let's go. Okay. Decouple. Okay, we want to go prograde now. Let's get back up to 300. Okay. Wait. So, RT. So that will soon descend into... There we go. And, oh, did I just screw up that I can't leave it now? Yeah, most likely. Alright, so let's watch it explode. Well, you come here for explosions, here you go. And if it survives, I'll be very surprised. It looks like the decoupler is going to explode. Or not. Okay, the engine's overheating. It's going to make it. Son of a gun, look at that. Wow. Kerbals really build things well, don't they? Look at that. It survived! It actually survived! Oh well. Let's let it go down, see what happens when it hits the ground. And that's because we're about to explode, hit the ground with the water and get destroyed. Boom. Nothing survived that. So, we are... Okay, so we're going to head back to the Space Center, and that's no kaboom. Actually, I have a mod installed called BAM, B-A-M, continued. Take a guess who's maintaining it. But it changes the explosions to be more in line with what's exploding. So in this particular case, because it hit the water, nothing's going to explode. Okay. So, for tonight, that's going to be it. I thank you all so much for coming and spending time with me. Suntow, what is that spreadsheet you posted here? Oh, that's mine. Okay. Yeah, that link is actually, just scroll down the channel page, and you'll see my system specs, Patreon link, and my mod list. All right. So anyway, let's see if there's anyone online who is currently hosting, playing. And thank you, Willie. I appreciate that. Nobody is... Okay. Nobody I'm following is doing Kerbal. Let's see if anyone else is. So we got me, and I don't know any of these. And while I don't mind doing a strange raid, all right. I happen to like giving somebody who isn't a big streamer a nice little host. So there's somebody here called Broken Set Online. Okay. So why don't we all take a hop over there. Host Broken Set Online. Oops, online. And say hi. All right. Thank you again. Have a good night, you all, and ciao.
Holy fucking shit! Linux Scooter Gamer is data mining the site with 59 different fucking users. Oh my goodness, this is the greatest host I have had yet! In fact, it's the only host I've had yet, and I am extremely grateful for it. We may have a raid on our hands. We may have a raid on our hands. Ladies and gentlemen, Linux Scooter Gamer, thank you so much for hosting. Thank you so fucking much for hosting. I need the views.